We are in the early days of developing a new organizational mindset of how to organize an entire enterprise around experimentation. Given that, we will outline 4 meta or underlying principles of organizing that we have developed as we have moved through this course. These organizing principles will guide you no matter what scale you are developing an experimental mindset, whether you are working in a small team or at an ecosystem level. The first principle states that the fundamental building block is the relationship between at least 2 things, 2 variables, 2 modules, 2 business operations, or 2 squads, or 2 people, a data analyst and an end user, operator 1 and operator 2, project manager and business executive, scrum member and product lead. We have referred to these relationships over the course of this class in a variety of ways, as association, dependency, interface, and interaction. This building block scales as you zoom out from variables to operations, from individuals to teams and to tribes. The second principle is that there is a feedback cycle at the relationship between things and people that must be measured to identify what is changing and what is stable at a given relationship. This forms a business experimentation cycle, or BEC, and the shorter the iteration, the easier it is to determine what has changed to inform the next course of action. Sometimes cycles need to be measured on a longer time frame. For example, does changes to a web page increase long-term revenue? Sometimes cycles need to get bigger in the case of big loop novelty, so new categories of measurement need to be developed in order to create a more disruptive course of action. The third principle is that the knowledge created from the BEC must be focused on a desired business outcome, on an outcome that can improve a particular user's experience. At TPS, continuous improvement could be measured at a single Kanban interface or scaled across the entire production system. Getting value from this focus requires a continuous knowledge manifestation process, or KMP. So for TPS, the infrastructure that supports continuous improvement, and for Agile, the capacity for continuous delivery. Managing a KMP for small loop novelty is much easier than it is for large loop novelty. The fourth principle is a scaling orientation that emphasizes flexibility over control and adaptability over planning. As a system grows in complexity, uncertainty increases, and there are 2 responses to this. The most typical is to do lots of planning and scheduling to de-risk the uncertainty. The second is to reframe uncertainty as a novelty problem associated with the lack of knowledge about the relations between things or people. With that reframing, experimentation needs to begin with using the 3 principles. Planning and scheduling assumes a predictable process, but the time it takes to plan delays engaging in the first 3 principles. Paradoxically, experimentation ends up generating predictability because it supports an adaptive process to iteratively develop knowledge about what is currently unknown. Ironically, too much planning and documentation can generate more novelty than it addresses.